So what I'm going to be teaching you today is to do simple trinomial and complex trinomial. They're both called trinomial because it means there's three terms in the equation. So we're going to start with simple trinomial, and it's called simple because the a value does not have a number higher than 1. So it's just 1. So your a is always 1. A equals 1, okay? So this is our equation for simple trinomial and complex trinomial. It's basically standard form, okay? So to do this, what we're going to need to do is to find two numbers from the times a and c to get a number which you could both add, sorry, let me start over. Okay, so a and c, you're going to times those two to get a number. So 1 times 5 is 5, and now we're going to find two numbers that multiply each other to get 5 and can also add each other to get the sum of b, which is 6. And here for this example, as you can see, I did 5 times 1, which is 5, and then my two numbers that multiply to get 5 and add each other to get 6 is 5 and 1, because 5 plus 1 equals 6 and 5 times 1 equals 5. And that's simple trinomial because you don't need to worry about, let's say it was a 2 here, then it'd be 5 times 2 equals 10, then you had to find a different number. They're giving you the exact numbers right in the equation, so it's basically 5 and 1. That's why it's called simple trinomial, because you don't need to think so far for the options on finding it. So 6, and then this is your answer. What you're going to do is that you're going to get x plus 1, because it's x squared, so we're trying to turn it to factored form. So x plus 1, we're going to sub it in, and then x plus 5. You see our two numbers that added, and now that. And if you want to see if you got the right answer, you could just expand and simplify and see if they're the same. Here's another example, and let's do it together now. So x squared plus 8x plus 12, okay? So what we're first going to do is 1 times 12, which is 12, so we don't need to worry about it. We just need to find a number which times to 12, which like this timesing each other gives you the sum of 12, and adding each other gives them 8. So let me go back. This example was an easy one because we didn't need to think of different options because it went straight here. But if the B is a different, like a huge gap between C, then we're gonna have to think ahead, right? So here, let's see. Our options are 12 times 1 equals 12, but if you add those, they give you 13. So that can't be it. Let's do 6 times 2 equals 12, and when you add them, they give you 8. So these are your two numbers. So 12, and then we're going to do 6 and 2. And so there are your numbers, and now you're just going to sub them in. So x plus 6 and x plus 2. And then there you have your factored form. Let's do one more example, but with a negative in it now, okay? So x squared minus 7x plus 10. So here we have a negative for 7, right? But as you can see, 10 is a positive, so that means your number is going to be positive 10, right? And since it's positive, the two numbers in the middle are going to be both negative. So negative here and negative here. So two numbers that are going to add each other are negative to get negative 7, but when they times each other, they give you positive 10, okay? So it's going to be negative 2 and negative 5, okay? Because when you times these, it gives you positive 10. When you add them, it gives you negative 7, okay? And now you're just going to sub them in. So x minus 2, because it's in minus, and then x minus 5. And then that's your answer. So for simple trinomial, what you're just doing for this is that you're just subbing them in without having to solve anything. For complex, you're going to have to do another extra step, and then you're going to have to group and then find, which I'm going to show you in just a second. But just understand, like to review simple trinomial, is that you times a and c to get a number, and then adding those two numbers to get b, okay? So times these two, get a sum, then add these two to get the sum in b. And if they work, then those are your answers. And to check, you could do expand form. Okay? And obviously, if it was negative 10, negative 10, then one of these would be positive, right? Like, let's say positive 5. But don't, this isn't the right answer, but I'm just showing you how the signs would change, okay? So it'll be negative 2 plus 5. So and then this is still, oh, sorry, positive 2, negative 5. So this is still negative and this is still negative, right? So anyways, moving on. Now we're going to do complex trinomial. It's called complex trinomial now because a has a number in front of it. Here's an example. 3x squared plus 15x plus 18. Here's an example. So what you're going to do here, remember how we times these two together, a and c? So it's like 1 times 5. Here we're going to do 3 times 18, a times c, which is 54, okay? And now you're going to find two numbers that multiply each other with the sum of 54 that could also add each other for the sum of 15, which is 9 and 6. You see how these all are positive because it's all positive here. Remember what I taught you. Anyways, what you're going to do now, since it's complex trinomial, you're going to rewrite it. And then what you're going to do is that you're going to get your two numbers and sub them in. Okay, so here, you see how it's b and it says x here? Then it's going to be 9x plus 6x. You see the x's? Don't forget to write that. If it said y here, then it'd be 9xy, 6xy, okay? And you're just going to sub it in, but it says x. Now, what we're going to do is what I taught you in the video before, which is factor by grouping. So we're going to group this one, and we're going to group this one, okay? So and then we're going to take out 3x because that's what they have in common. 3x squared divided by 3x gives you x, and then plus 3. Then we're going to do this one, 9x divided by 3x equals 3. Now we're going to take out 6 because 18 doesn't have x, so we're going to bracket it x because 6 divided by 6 equals 1. X plus, 3. 18 divided by 6 equals 3. So now we have our binomial factors here, and we're just going to group it here, 3x, and we're going to get our leftover terms and put it in the next one, 3x plus 6. And this is your answer. And if you want to check it, you could just expand and to get this answer. And that's how you do it for complex trinomial with a in front. Let's do another example. How about we do... Let's do 6x squared plus 11x plus 3. So what we're going to do is times these two together, which gives us 18, okay? And now we need to find a number which adds to 11, which are both 9 and 2. 9 times 2 equals 18. 9 plus 2 equals 11. So it works. Now we're going to do what we did up here, 9x squared plus 9. See, there's an x, so 9x plus 2x plus 3. Okay, so now we're going to do that. So you see how I taught you in the other one that you could arrange things to group them properly? I'm going to arrange it because 2 and 3 have nothing in common. But 2x and 6x squared has something in common, and 9x and 3 have something in common. So I'm going to do 6x squared, bracket 6x squared plus 2x, and then plus 9x, 9x plus 3. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to pull out what they have in common. The 2x is in common with this one, so then it's going to be 3x plus 1. And then here 3 is in common, so it's going to be 3x plus 1. These are binomial, so I'm going to put them together here, 3x plus 1. And then I'm going to get the leftover terms and put them in the next bracket, plus 3. And there's the answer. And here's another example. There we go. Now, what we're going to work with, since I showed you negative here, I'm going to show you an equation with negative in it for complex trinomial, okay? So let's do 6x squared minus 17x plus 5. Here we go. So now since we have a negative here, well, obviously we're going to times these together as normal, so 30. And then what I need you to realize that C is a positive and B is a negative, right? So that means, like the same over here, we're going to have two negative numbers that times each other to get positive 5 and add each other to get negative 17, which are 15 and 2. Like I have the two answers here on the side because I'm just guessing. Like, no, I'm not guessing, but I already have them. That's why I'm doing it quick. But if I was solving it, I'd do like the possibilities and write them and see which one. I'm just doing it quick because I already have the answers, but it's normal if you find the possibilities. Anyways, it's negative 15, negative 2, because if you add negative 15 and negative 2, gives you negative 17, sorry, and if you times these two, gives you positive 30. Sorry, positive 30, not 5, 30. Okay, and now what you're gonna do is that you're gonna sub them in like we did before, but it's gonna be negative 15, there's an x, and negative 2x plus 5. I'm gonna rearrange it so that the grouping can work. Negative 2x, negative 15x, plus 5. I'm gonna group them. Okay, and now what I'm gonna do is, is 2x, find something in common, right? 2x divided by 6x equals 3x minus 1, because it's a negative here, right? Negative here. So and then now I'm going to take out what's in common here, 5, which gives me negative 3x plus 1. So you see how these are not binomial? I want to change that. I need them to be binomial so it works out, right? To be the same. So I'm going to take out this negative here. Let me rewrite this one, 3x minus 1. I'm going to take this negative out and give it to the 5. So it's going to be negative 5, 3x, and then obviously this one's going to change since I moved it to negative 1. It's going to change. So if it was, to negative 1, okay? And then bracket. Now these two are the same and I could group them together, 3x minus 1, like put them together, sorry, not group them, and then going to get the leftover terms, 2x minus 5. And then that's your answer. So I'm going to do one more example just to show you when C is also negative, and that's basically it. Okay, so let's have the example 8x squared minus 2x minus 3. Okay, so we're going to times these two, which gives us negative 24, because C is now negative, right? And so that means since these are both negative, one of our numbers is going to be negative and the other is going to be positive, because a negative number times a positive gives you a negative sum. Okay, so and then obviously, once again, here's another tip, just like that one, when one's negative, one's positive. Another tip for B, when this is negative, since B is negative, that means this negative number is bigger than this one. Okay, so the negative number is bigger than the positive, because I'll show you in just a second. So we're gonna find our numbers. It's gonna be negative 6 and 4. So negative 6 is bigger because it's negative 2, right? So negative 6 plus 4, positive 4, it's going to give us negative 2. If it was negative 4 plus 6, it's going to give us 2. But we have negative here, so the higher number is going to be negative, okay? So the bigger number. So it's negative 6. That's just a tip to remember. It's really easy to remember. Now we're just going to do what we did before. Negative 6, there's an x, and then plus 4x minus 3. We're going to rearrange it, so x squared plus 4x, bracket, and then negative, where am I? Oh, sorry. Negative 6x minus 3. Okay, now we're going to take out 4x because that's what they both have in common, making it 2x plus 1. And then here we're going to take out negative 3 because look, they both have negative in common and also 3. So I might as well take out the negative 3 instead of, because these two didn't have a negative in common, but these two do, so I could take it out now, right? Along with because it's in common, along with the 3. So then I'm going to do here, negative 3 divided by negative 6 squared, negative 6x divided by negative 3 gives you 2x, and then negative 3 divided by negative 3 equals plus 1. You see how these are similar? Now I'm going to bring them down just like always because they're similar. And then I'm going to get the leftover terms, negative 3. And then that's my answer. That's how you do complex trinomial and simple trinomial.